Hello and welcome to my first ever Runescape guide on how to beat Telos easily all the way to 4K. You'll need the following requirements. You'll need 100, at least 100 Necromancy, full tier 95 Necromancy gear including the Mend Offhand, runes for Disruption Shield, the Vulnerability Bombs, Weapon Poison, actually the best weapon poison you can get, the Ring of Vigor upgrade, Ring of Death, a cleared force switch, and the immunity of the humans. Yeah, that's actually all you need for the beginning, and let's get over to my gear setup. So as I said before, you need the tier 95 necromancy gear. I have precise 6 equilibrium 1 on the main hand, aftershock 4 equilibrium 2 on the offhand. We need the Assassins of Finality with the Death Guard. I guess the Zack Cape is mandatory as well. A Grimoire. Yeah, on the top piece we have Relentless 5, Crackling 4, and Biting 4 Mobile. Mobile comes in pretty handy in P4 if you don't want to switch between your clear-headed switch and your bottom all the time. So Biting 4 Mobile is, for me personally, the best way to go. Invigorating 4, you don't need mobile here if you have it on the top piece. And Impatient 4 with Undead Slayer. You could actually go for something like Enhanced Devoted, but you don't really need it with Necromancy because you face pretty fast all the time. Yeah, as I said just right now, here's my cleared switch with Turtling 4. We need Turtling 4, it's really important, otherwise we'll get clapped in P5 and our Arcade will run off before we can finish the kill. Power Burst of Vitality, yeah, stuff like Overload. I have 3 different room pages and a Wand of the Bristle. You will not need that because this inventory includes Smoke Cloud, but my guide doesn't include Smoke Cloud, so you can take 2 more food instead of the wand and 1 room pouch. On top I have a Cinnabon glove switch. Basically I use the hand wraps of the first Necromancer to increase the duration for my Conjured Spirits. I switch it right before I surge in P1. You don't really need it. You can just equip the Cinnabon gloves and leave the hand wraps the hand wrap in your bank. It's just a bit of extra damage, but you don't need it. And here I have Bolas. In terms of relic powers, we're going to use Fjorti Small for the 1% more adrenaline for every basic ability. Conservation of energy, that's basically every ultimate you do, you will regain 10% adrenaline, and therefore that's basically the lower your HP, the less damage you get. We are going to use the Ripper Demon. Don't forget your scrolls, and you need to set the auto fire rate of your Familiar to 1, so it attacks every 1 second. And on top, don't forget to get your HP boost in Anachronia and use the Desert Pantheon Aura to boost your HP as well. And that's everything we need preparation wise. I guess we can now go to Telos. Before every kill we'll need to get up our stacks, so we're going to use Threads of Fate, Soul Step into Touch of Death onto the dummy, and then we can like get 100% adrenaline and get into the instance. Just a quick word before I jump down there. Your P1 kill time is highly reliant on your Death Skulls critting or not. If your Death Skulls crit, your P1 is going to be faster, and if your P1 is fast, that means that Telos does less auto attacks, and less auto attacks it means that he will do his tendrils later, just to have that in mind before I jump down there. Down there we are going to spawn our spirits. Don't forget darkness. We're going to summon the zombie, then the ghost, then the skeleton, command the ghost. Living Death with Adrian Pot and Surge. Command Skeleton, target cycle, touch of death, bone bomb. Skulls into Finger of Death, into Soul Sap, auto attack, Soul Sap into Finger of Death, and dive back. So we will look at P1 again, but this time it's going to be a bit slower so you can understand what's going to happen. So the same thing as before, it's the same kill. We're going to spawn our spirits. And now look at the tile where I'm walking. It's really important that you stay there. Spawn our spirits as before. Now we are about to do Living Death with Adrian Pot and Surge at half the global cooldown so that we can command the skeleton on global cooldown and switch target cycle, touch and vuln bomb. Walk there so that we can dive back to this place, like to the exit to P2. Do the same rotation like as before. Just about the basic things that you need to know about Telos that you have to keep in mind. Finger of Death and dive. Diving is important because we want to do one more Death Skulls in Living Death in P2. So we drop down and we basically just do the rotation. Split Soul, Vuln Bomb, then Skulls, then Command, into Volley of Souls, into Touch, into Soul Sap, and dive. Now for the explanation of P2, Telos did 6 auto attacks in P1, that means his 8th auto attack is his tendrils. So we start with the first ability, Split Soul. Then we do the Skulls. Telos does a 7 attack while we command, and we can Volley of Souls right into his tendrils right now. It's not even that bad if you like miss a tick or two, like if you do volley too late, he will still, like, you will get a bit of damage, but he will instantly fade with your volley of souls. Quick tip, disrupt right before your volley of souls so you get all split soul hits. As I said before, P1 is really reliant on your Death Skull hits, like if it crits or not. We're going to do, that's another kill where the P1 is way faster than the kill before, so we do the same thing, Threads of Fate, Soul Sap into Touch of Death. We go in and do the same thing, we spawn our spirits, just look at it. So basically we are going to face at 4 auto attacks and not at 6 auto attacks as before. You see the Death Skull crit with a 15k almost. Telos did 4 auto attacks in total, and we dive into the next phase. Now we do the same rotation and we are able to face Telos even before he's doing his tendrils. But be careful, while learning I would always use my Volley of Souls for his tendrils. P3 is pretty straightforward, it's always the same rotation. You do the Command Skeleton, Soul Sap, Touch, Auto Attack, Skulls with Dive at the same time. Let's look at another P3. It's the same as the kill before. The only important thing is that you, after your auto attack, you will use Death Skulls and dive. You don't see the red beam before you dive. So Death Skulls, then the beam will spawn, and then you will dive. So your reflexes are needed. On drop down we'll use Finger of Death into a sense of finality and Soul Sap and Soul Strike if needed. Dive into the font, Reso, Reflect, Anticipation with Clear-Headed, Preparation, Invoke Death targeting Telos, Soul Sap, Touch of Death. Now this message will come, Telos preparing to fire an anima bomb. We wait 1 second to Finger of Death, volley, soul sap, dive or surge. Now we wait to lose target to use devotion, adrenaless, resonance, anticipation clear-headed, threads of fate, soul sap, touch of death, equip the bolas, Infinity of the Human with corruption shot. When they are stunned, walk away. Wait 1 second again, do the same rotation as in the first font, but now you will have to dive into the second font to not die. We lose target on Telos again so that we can summon our spirits without any Adron loss. And yeah, basically do the rotation. And here the important thing is that we use Blood Siphon at the very end of our rotation because we get so much HP back on this last font, it's unbelievable. P4 is easily the hardest phase on at Telos, so we do it slowly one more time. Finger of Death with Wulm Bomb. Then we do the weapons like the SS of Finality, which stuns Telos for a sec. Soul Sap and dive into the font. Instantly Resonance, Reflect, equip your Death Dealer rope bottoms with your clear-headed switch to Anticipation, Preparation. Don't forget to use your Excalibur. Now we use Invoke Death. Invoke Death will stay at him for the last phase, like for the third font. Then we use Soul Sap, Touch of Death. Now the important part, there's this message. Telos is preparing to fire a bomb. We will wait a second, then use Finger of Death into Volley of Souls, into Soul Sap and Surge, or Soul Sap and Surge afterwards. Then we'll go to this corner, exactly this corner. You will have to wait here because the minions will gather around you, and we will wait here until we lose target of Telos. Do Devotion, target cycle Resonance, Anticipation of Freedom with your clear-headed switch, Threads of Fate into Soul Sap to get 5 Soul Sap stacks. Do a Touch of Death and then equip your bolas. And use Infinity of the Human with Corruption Shot. You have to wait a bit so that they get stunned, then you can walk out. Wait again for the message, like wait a second to Finger of Death and to Volley of Souls. Dive into the font with his Anima Bomb. And yeah, just surge away from the minions. That, by the way, this is the hardest part at Necrotelos. Now here, we lost target again. We can summon our spirits without losing Adron. As soon as we do preparation, we will target cycle to Telos and do preparation, resonance, touch of death, freedom or anticipation. And then we'll use blood save. Now look at my HP. Just look at my HP. It will just like go up so much. Now you get the Telos gets a blood siphon hit, and now he'll phase into P5 because we'd used Invoke Death on the first font. Welcome to the last phase of Telos. Now here we'll prepare a Wulm Bomb, target cycle with Splitsaw right now, to Resonance, Reflect, Nutty with a Vitality, Death Skulls, Living Death, another Death Skulls, Kate, and spam Finger of Death until he's dead. That's basically P5, and in my opinion it's the most fun, like the most fun phase of all. Let's get through that phase one last time in slow motion. Make sure you equipped your cleared switch. So we spawn here, you look at my prayer interface, you can deflect magic there. It will change your prayer. So we do prepare Wulm Bomb, target cycle splits to a Wulm Bomb. Then we will walk into the left beam. Look where I click. Look where I click. Resonance, Reflect. After Reflect you could actually camp melee pray. If you're not able to pray flick, just camp melee pray. Nutty with Power Burst of Vitality, Death Skulls, Living Death, another Death Skulls, And then we just kate and keep our soul split on because we still have split soul. So we do more damage. And then yeah, basically we'll just camp our Finger of Death until he's dead. The most important thing here is just to get in the beam fast and learn when to target cycle and vuln bomb, like when you can target Telos. Now this is going to be an example for green and black or black minions on the if the green beam is on the right side. We still like do the same thing as before. We walk to the left side. With our reflex we surge into the right beam, and yeah, then we keep doing our rotation. And look at my HP. I'm pretty low HP, but for some reason I don't die. The thing is, even if I would die, I wouldn't really die because I have Ring of Death. And if you're arcaded, you don't get damaged by your Ring of Death, like you don't get your bleeds. And yeah, that's it. And now here's one example of if you get red minions on a side beam, it's the same rotation, except you will do a anticipation after your natural instinct. And then just do the same rotation again. Death Skulls, Living Death, Death Skulls, Kate, and you spam again. And well, if your anticipation runs out, you can do freedom if you really need to, but most of the times he's already dead by then. And yeah. I will show you an example for red minions and back beam. I'm already Ring of Death, as you can see. We go on the left beam. Now we face Telos, surge dive into the back beam, and we do our rotation. So basically all three rotations are the same. If you have a back beam, you walk into the left beam, you face Telos, surge dive into the back beam, and yeah, then you try to finish Telos. As you can see, I couldn't quite finish him, but I surged into the right beam and then I cleared his virus. In normal circumstances, I would have just stayed there, but because my Ring of Death already procced, I couldn't just stay there and I had to clear the virus. Otherwise I wouldn't. Otherwise I would just stay there and wait for Telos to die. That's it. Thank you for hopefully watching this video till the end, and hopefully I could at least help some of you people. The intention of this guide was to make Telos like more achievable for more people, especially the high-end rages. And I really got to say, Necromancy just did it. It's easier than ever. Like in comparison to mage, range or melee, Necromancy is the best combat style right now for Telos by far. At the very end, here are some quick tips for you guys, especially if you're like new to Telos. You have to learn to bravely like soul split and from mage to melee and the other way around. Soul split clicking is really important. You should use vengeance as much as possible, especially on high end rages, because you like do so much damage on Telos. Be patient and have fun. Telos is a grind and learning curve is extremely hard, and it takes a bit of time, but once you get the hang of it, you should be able to get to your 4K easily.